I'm a drummer, I'm a composer. I worked primarily as a sideman, but I do my own projects. I've made 7 recordings as a leader, and I have a new one out now called Band Menu with a trio with Walter Smith and Larry Grenadier. And obviously I've worked a lot with John Scofield. Every band leader I work for is different compositions. Maybe they play their own music. If it's someone else I work with, it's going to be different because maybe it's their music they pick or it's their compositions, and a different band. It's going to be very different. And when I'm working as a leader, it's really different for me because I feel like as a leader, if you're doing gigs, which I do from time to time, there's about 20 more times the things to think about in terms of the gig. Otherwise, because playing with John, most things are arranged, and I'm not really involved with that. I mostly show up to the gig and the sound check, and somebody sends me the schedule, tells me where I need to be, and this kind of thing. So, in a way, being a sideman is it's easier in some ways because there's not so many things to attend to. But I do like doing my own projects, and it's worthwhile to do those things to make the gig happen and make all the phone calls and think about the set list and all the things that have to go into arranging a gig, especially if you don't have management or a personal manager, you have even more to do. Well, a rhythm can be played in different ways with slightly different feeling, slightly different space between the notes, slightly different accenting or drastically different accenting. So you can play the same rhythm and make it feel different ways by accenting it differently, maybe by spacing it out ever so slightly differently. It depends on the band how much, and the music, maybe how much freedom I would have in terms of improvisation, but all the things I do involve some improvisation. And for instance, playing with John's band when we're on tour, it's pretty different every night. We play differently every night. Different things happen. I don't play the same things in the same spots. So I like that. I like the freshness of that. I like the interaction in a band. Most of the music I've been involved with, and certainly John's, has been very interactive music. So, and certain things, the forms and certain things are similar or the same every night, but a lot of things are very different. Yeah. No, I make mistakes all the time. Yeah. Well, you get good at messing up and covering it, though. So, every evening, most evenings, there's some stuff where I flub something, or to varying degrees, and sometimes you make the mistake and you kind of make it sound good, if you can make it, or it just comes out, and everything exists in a certain space of time, so you have to stay in the moment. So the next moment is something different. So if I mess up, I gotta move on quick. It's his music. It's very personal, and I've always enjoyed his music a lot, and playing it, and it's allowed me to develop some things on the drum set within his music. And being a sideman with John is different than being a sideman with any of the other people I've worked with. So, you have to be up for whatever the day brings because you're not in control of a whole lot of things out here. So, every day is a departure, traveling, a sound check, a hotel. A lot of times when you don't really get quite enough sleep, and a lot of places where maybe you just don't have a lot of options. So, but I don't really like traveling or touring. That part, the traveling part, it's not really fun mostly. Well, this has been a great tour, and everything has gone pretty smoothly. Had a lot of really great gigs in the States. We did about 3 weeks, and we're doing almost 4 weeks here in Europe. I mean, I don't really like to be put in an exact box because I've played other styles of music. So to say that I'm only a jazz musician, I don't know. Probably not, but it's the easiest general word to describe most of the stuff that I've done. But I've played in a top 40 band. I've played in rhythm and blues music with Maceo Parker. I've done other kinds of things. So my uncle bought me a toy set of drums when I was very young. My father was a jazz musician, very excellent trombonist, who mostly played and lived in Des Moines, Iowa. So that's where I'm from, in the middle of the United States. So, and my mother also was a choir director and was involved in a little bit in jazz in certain parts of her choir conducting career, but mainly my dad was the jazz guy, and so I'm sure if it wasn't for being around him, I probably wouldn't have gotten interested in it. I would have been interested in something else. Well, my dad was a band director as well as a musician, and he had drums at his school, and so I would start playing them there when I was a little kid, and then eventually we had a very small amount of drum equipment at home that I played, and it was just something as a little kid that was easy for me to play without too much, instruction. Actually, I could just sit down and, play with a record, however it may have sounded, but I could, get a sound out of the drums without a whole lot of teaching or something.